this is what I'm going to show you how to make in this video. We're going to be talking all about how to make these deep, jazzy, emotional, jungle, and drum and bass pads. So, if you haven't already, like this video, as well as subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know what you think of this video in the comments. To go along with this video, I've just dropped a new sample pack called Best Jungle DNB Pads Ever. The link is right at the top of the description. This is this awesome collection right here, where you can see I've made all these different little pad kits here, with a bunch of individual layers, and you get all the individual layers, plus the full pads, plus the MIDI, plus the Ableton files. So I'm going to stop talking and just play a few of these for you. So you can hear it's all super solid stuff with these chord progressions. And you can hear you get all the individual layers, plus the Ableton files, plus the MIDI files. This is literally the best collection I've seen of these pads on the market. I've never seen another pack like this that really has them sounding like the records like this. Again, link is at the top of the description. This is a great resource, not just if you want to learn, also just if you need some new inspiration or something new to work with. But I promise you, this is something you can do right now that will take your tracks to the next level today. So, link is at the top of the description. It really helps support me. But also, it's about helping you guys take your tracks to the next level. Go grab this. I promise it's going to help you immediately make your best music. Thank you so much for the support, guys. And let's dive into the video. So, I have got this pad in front of me that I played you in the intro. We've got two layers here. So that's the first thing with these pads I'll talk about, is going to actually be like, a lot of times when you hear these, you might think that it's just one pad, right? Like, when you hear it in a track, it represents one instrument. But oftentimes, it's not just one layer. Even if, like, let's say back in the day, they were using something like the Chord M1 or something like that to get, like, these pads, and maybe it was one layer, like, one preset, it's usually multiple different things playing at once. Because what a lot of the sound here is you're hearing two things where, like, maybe one will have an LFO that's moving, like, you know, kind of slower, like, vroom, vroom, vroom. And then the other's got an LFO which is like, vroom, and that was sounds crazy, but you see what I'm saying? That movement there, and the fact that it's like multiple different movements coming together, that's what's making up the sound. So you want to keep that in mind. If you're sitting there like hearing these and going, oh, why is my one layer of super saw pad with an LFO on the filter not sounding right? Well, try doing a few layers and you'll see what I'm talking about. But actually, probably more important than any synthesis or layering is going to be the notes. Because these are definitely one of those things where you could have all the cool presets, all the sound design, all the tape saturation plugins you want all day, all the different reverb plugins. But if you don't have like just good MIDI going into it that sounds solid, it's not going to work. You know, you really got to know what you're doing. But that being said, it's not actually that hard if you know what you're doing with the MIDI here. So if we look at this, see, like starting out here, this first chord, it's just a minor chord. It's just an E minor. So that's the key we're in, is E minor. And then here we're going up to this chord, which is a G major. But see, it drones on that high chord, on that high note there. So by having that one note that kind of like keeps going while you're going into that next chord there, it makes a big difference. It's that kind of stuff. And then it's also kind of like how there's two parts, right? Like there's a at the beginning. But so that's kind of like the call, and then we have the response. Like, see how it's like you can hear the symmetry in those two parts? So that's what you want to keep in mind there, is like, it's like these, there's something to this where it's almost like a chord melody. It's like you're using chords to create a melody, right? And then I'll also talk about the individual voices here. So again, first chord is just a basic E minor, and then 2 of the notes an octave down. Here we got this G major, where basically it's a G major 7, but then we've also got this guy right here, the major 6th, and then again there's that B up top, so another major 3rd. This chord is like a D minor, yeah, just a regular D minor. And something you'll notice is technically you're breaking the key, right? Because if you would have G major, usually you would have D major as well, or if you had, because they're fifths. So if you would have D minor, you would have G minor as well. But it's kind of breaking that, and that's another thing with this. Sometimes it breaks music theory, and that's because, one, it's just music theory, not music fact, and two, this is like very jazzy, right? And that's really where the jazz stuff comes in. It's like, you know, kind of being not afraid to do that, because it sounds really cool when you go. Right? And if you were just doing everything by the book, it wouldn't really sound that, like, you wouldn't get that vibe to it, you know? Yes, it would sound good, it would be super musical, but this is pretty musical too. And then this chord down here is just kind of a 5th down from this chord, with some extra voices. So you can see, so this is an A minor, but we're adding in the 4th and the 6th, and then another A up top. So start with a minor chord. Basically, if you're stuck on these and you're like, alright, cool, you just told me all that information, but where am I going to start? Start with like a good solid minor chord and just build the progression off of that. So then for the actual sounds, here I have 2 layers. And a lot of times when you're making these, and in the past, like back in the day, a big hallmark of these, and even the modern ones, like the Sewer Slut type of stuff, and like a lot of modern jungle, is basically combining synth sounds that are either like very analog or very digital, as well as you'll see here with operator, with organic sounds. And that's actually a big part of what creates the sound. So what I have here is I have this recording of me whistling, as you can see, very aptly titled there. So this is like, I'll play the original sample. Also, maybe it isn't me whistling. This was like a sample I had saved a long time ago, so I guess okay, so I took this whistle sample. And then you can basically just take that and just take like a little chunk of it, and then we're looping that. And I have it tuned as well, so it'll be in key. And then I have some effects on it. And so this creates this nice, like, organic kind of layer, which obviously doesn't have a lot of low end like you would maybe get from another layer. But that's the point, is this is just giving you that nice, bright high end. So we've got this going through a vocoder using this chromatic preset, which actually, you're not really hearing that. We've got a bit of flange here with this metallic layer. We have a tiny bit of redux, some delay, some reverb, a bit of saturation, an EQ cutting the mids, a little bit more chorus at the end, and then a high pass filter. And then on the second layer, it's made with operator. And so this is a pretty simple operator pad. It's a triangle wave with a bit of attack, and then some FM from a sine wave. And then if you look at the LFO here, it's on the pitch, so you're getting a little bit of movement. And this is, again, like having the different movements, right? Because you have the whistling. That's got its own movement. Like you can hear in the sample, it's kind of like moving around. But then you have this thing, the pitch is warbling. And you hear that when you put them together, you're getting like one like, and one is staying right on the pitch, but it has its own movement. That's what I was talking about when I was saying having multiple layers. Because if you hear that and you go, oh, okay, so that's one layer. So maybe they have like 2 oscillators and one has an LFO on the pitch and one is like not. That is going to get very messy very quickly if you try to do that. And then you're going to get super discouraged because you're like, oh, why doesn't it sound right? Like, I'm doing this complicated thing that I heard. It's not as complicated as you think, though. It's probably just because, like, in that case, like I said, it's 2 layers where one has a little LFO on the pitch and one doesn't. And it's not in one synth, but it comes together to create, like, one nice thing. The way they're interacting. And then other than that, we just have a bit of reverb and a high-pass filter on that one. Pretty simple, but again, they just fit together really nicely. And yeah, you could even do like 3 or 4 layers like in the pack that I made that's in the description. Some of these have like 4 or 5 layers even. And yeah, so that's going to be it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed. As always, make sure to like this video as well as subscribe. And let me know what you think of this video in the comments. Like I said in the beginning, you can get best jungle DNB pads ever. Link is at the top of the description. Again, it's these 5 kits with a ton of different loops in them. So many loops in here you can see. For each of these pads, you get all the individual layers, plus the MIDI files, plus the Ableton files. Again, I'll just play you some of these so you can hear how solid they are. So all really good stuff. Plus, you get the free bonus acid lines and effects. Thank you so much for the support, guys. This really helps support me. I really don't make that much off of YouTube. So if you enjoy these videos and I've been helping you, go grab this. It really helps me more than I can even say, actually. It really helps keep me going so I can keep bringing you guys new videos and showing you how to do this. Plus, really, it's not just for me. The best part about this is that it's also designed so that not only are you supporting me, you are getting a really awesome template that will help you take your tracks to the next level today. You know, if you've been struggling with these or if you just need some new inspiration or anything in between, it's the perfect pack to get you going right now and get some inspiration and get your tracks moving. So if you want to make your best music, click the link at the top of the description and you will take the first step. Thank you so much for the support, and I'll see you guys tomorrow with another